Welcome to Westview Sailing's RYA Day Skipper and Yachtmaster shore-based online navigation course. I'm Duncan Wells, RYA instructor and features writer on Yachting Monthly. I'll be taking you through the exercises. Today we're going to look at secondary ports. Now this is really Yachtmaster level. At Day Skipper we just need to have an awareness of the corrections for secondary ports, and there are no secondary port questions in the assessment papers. But if you're going to go through a subject in order to give someone an awareness of what's involved, so I tend to give all my students a pretty good grounding in secondary ports. I don't know why it is, but people get frightfully worked up about them. They've only got to see a secondary port question and they're instantly overcome with a fit of the vapours. And they're not that hard. As with anything, all we have to do is break it down into simple steps. We find the secondary port information in the almanac. Let's look at Parvin Sound, page 63 in the Training Almanac. It tells us that the standard port is Port Fraser, which means that tide times and heights are referenced to Port Fraser, and it is the Port Fraser tide table and tidal curve that we need to use. So what's this secondary port information telling us? Looking at the times, we see that when high water Fraser is 0000 hours, which is midnight, and when it's 1200 hours, which is midday, then high water at Parvin Sound will be minus 48 minutes, 48 minutes ahead of this. So when high water is midday, 1200 hours at Fraser, the high water time at Parvin Sound will be 1200 minus 48 minutes, which is 1112. But when high water Fraser is 0600 or 1800, high water Parvin Sound is only 24 minutes before, minus 24 minutes. So high water at Fraser of 1800 minus 24 minutes means high water Parvin is 1736. That's straightforward enough, but what happens when high water Fraser is 0430? Well, we have to interpolate, and we can do this in a number of ways. We can do it in our head, we can use a calculator, we can draw out a grid, but I prefer to draw out an interpolation diagram. First, we draw a horizontal line. I'm using my plotter. Then on our 45-degree line, we'll put in the time differences. Now, 5 minutes beforehand, or minus 5 minutes, matches up with 0700. At the other end, we have an hour and 5 minutes, which I've called minus 65 minutes, and that matches up with 1300. I've then spread these in 10-minute intervals, minus 15, minus 25, minus 35, minus 45, minus 55. So now, if we want 1133, which is somewhere between 11 and 12, we parallel off from our minus 65, 1300 line, and if we bring that back to 1133, we'll find it comes halfway between minus 45 minutes and minus 55 minutes, which is minus 50 minutes. As a matter of interest, I've made that into 6 intervals. But I could have made it into 12 intervals of 5 minutes each. As long as these two things relate, then both scales will relate to each other. So, high water at Colville is 1133, less our 50 minutes for Jackson Bay's offset, 1043. Add in your daylight saving time of 1 hour, 1143. So high water Jackson Bay will be at 1143 SPDST. Now let's check the range. The low water before is 0.9 of a metre. High water is 4.9 metres and the low water after is 0.4. And we find that we have a height of tide of 4 metres from just after 0923 in the morning until 1343 in the afternoon. So we need to be away by 1:30, and that'll give us time for an early lunch. Remember, rule 1, never run aground on an ebb tide. Leave that to the professionals. There you are, secondary ports. Not as bad as some people think. And you've just done a complicated one. They don't get any worse than that, I can assure you. Thanks for watching Westview Sailing's RYA Day Skipper and Yachtmaster shore-based online navigation.